folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. Well, it's maiden time for the all-new F-86 Sabre Sky Blazer from FMS. 80mm. I've got a 5,000 brand new 5,000 HRB 6,000, or I'm sorry, 5,000 6 cell with a 50C discharge, and I'll show you where I've got it set right as soon as we get done flying. But yeah, thing's got lights all over it. Got nice, very bright, day bright lights in the very tail. Right, left, up, down, right, left. I'm going to take off as you always should when you first fly a plane for the first time in your low rates. And for me, for ailerons, that's 60% with 20% expo. For my elevator, that's 70% with 20% expo. And for my rudder is 70% with 20% expo. My high rates are 90% on the rudder. Elevators 90, ailerons are 80. So we're going to start out with our low rates. And we'll see what I'll do. High race to taxi. Make sure right, left, up, down, right, left. There's takeoff flaps, landing flaps, and there's the air brakes coming out. I'm going to treat them like I normally would when I use thrust reverse. I'm running a Lemon RX Gen 2 with this. I did end up putting one of the stabilizer. It doesn't have self-level, but it does have wind mitigation like AS3X. Now, the gear is a little more narrow on this 86 than they are on the free wing. So wingtip striking might be a little bit of an issue, like right there. So just have to make sure you're good and level. All right, timer set for 3.5 minutes. Woo, shake off the nerves. Okay. Here we go. First thing I did is switch to mid rates. I could tell that low rates weren't going to cut it. I'm going to go around to high rates now.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Boy, she sounds good.
Gear down.
All right, gears down.
Landing flaps. Braking.
Wow, what a sweetheart. What an absolute sweetheart. I didn't need them air brakes at all. I just used them when I was rolling. But she landed a little bit better of a landing before a maiden flight. I've never flown this plane before. And I immediately switched to high rates. I went to mid and then I went back to high. High is the way to go. And actually, I'm going to increase my throws on my ailerons a little bit for high rates. And then high rates, I'm going to take them to 90% instead of 80. And I'm going to increase my elevator just a little bit. But these are the things you do when you first fly a plane. You're figuring her out. Kind of getting a feel for her. All right. Oh, my hands are just a shaking. All right. Beautiful plane, absolutely beautiful plane. And based upon that short little flight, she flies as good as she looks. All right. I do have a west wind that's going right down the runway, so that is helping with braking. And I always like flying into a wind. It just gives you a little more to deal with. All right, let's go. Didn't even use takeoff flaps.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Man, what a beautiful jet.
Gear down. Landing flaps.
In the grass, but that's okay.
Brakes.
Man, what a sweet flying, easy to land jet. Whoa, man. One of my club members just said, hey, you take credit cards? I will tell you folks that, you know, Hobby Zone's my sponsor. They sent this out to me for the review, and I could just kiss their feet right now. I absolutely am in love with this jet. All right, we're going to actually do takeoff flaps this time.
Gear up. Time remaining 1 minute. Gear down. Landing flaps.
Man, I can't get over how good she sounds.
Braking.
Woo!
Flaps up.
What an absolute sweetheart.
30 seconds.
I'm just upset that I'm out of time. All right, let's go over the features of this plane. All right, as you've already seen, okay, props secured. Got the, I have the air brake set on what I like on my C switch, which I like to use for brakes. I have a middle setting and then a close, and then all the way out. But with a flying into the headwind and then flaps all the way down and a little bit of a high alpha, a little bit landing, she's slowing down just fine. A little more practice and I'll stop her right here instead of rolling in the grass. High rates were the way to go, which were 90% on ailerons, and yeah, 90, 70, and 20 with 20% expo all the way around. I'm sorry, 60% low, 70% mid, and 90% high on ailerons, and pretty much the same on the rudder and the elevator. And wow, I just can't get over. There is no glue needed for any of this assembly. And even the pitot tube right here actually screws in. If you watch my assembly video, that just screws in. It's got brass threads on a metal screw. Picked up a spider. This little fin right here is very strong and it just slides right in. You could take it off in case you're afraid you have to belly land. Later on, we'll do a little more of a darker flight. I put a piece of clear packing tape on the front of this plate here because these lights will reflect off of that and give you a little better forward view. Those lights only come on when the gear is down. And then look at that, I don't know what that is, a tiller arm or what that is there, to reinforcement arm to hold that gear in. Of course, you've got suspension all the way around. Okay, it's fairly tight. Gear doors, of course, sequenced. You got to pay attention to that because it takes a while for that nose gear door to open and close. Okay. Next time we fly, we'll actually put the ordnance on it. And yeah, I tell you what, got a real nice scale latch mechanism for the canopy. And right here, about, oh, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches in on the wood here is where I've got the 5000 HRB. Basically, in the very middle, you know, the straps are even on either side. This is the Lemon RX Gen 2. Has a stabilizer, not self-level, just wind mitigation. I know in the assembly and the radio setup, I said I was not going to use that one, but I decided, since I had one, actually I forgot I had it, so I installed it, and that way I've got a little bit of wind mitigation. I put the gains on the roller, on the knob, and I got them dialed down where they don't really give much correction, but the plane is so super stable. And again, on your control board, this little plug that comes out here, I have no idea what that goes to. There's nothing in the manual, there's no diagram. Maybe I can find something out about it from FMS, but I don't know what it goes to. And everything functions, so I do not know. And I know she doesn't have reverse, so reverse thrusting, so it's not that. Real quick before we show the how much left in the battery. CG on the plane, to give you a landmark, about 3/4 of the way back from the wing root, it's 180 to 190 millimeters from the wing root. The wing root is where the wing first touches the fuselage. Okay, not the leading, this is the leading edge, this is the wing root. 180 millimeters to 190, which that, if you see them little black dots there, that's where that CG's at. I know I got the gear down, but right there, and she's just basically perfect right there. So, all right, let's see how much left. How much is left in the tank? And I'm Hobby Zone. Thank you for sending this out for me to review. FMS, you have 38% after a 3.5 minute flight, and we were, okay, 3-minute flight in 9 seconds. So 38%, if you fly a full 3 minutes and 30 seconds on a 5000, you should come back at 30%, which is perfect storage rate. So 3.5 minutes is perfect. Beautiful plane. Love, I can't say anything bad about it, other than the price. $500 plane. But if you can stomach that, I mean, they've even got weathering in the, I want to show this to the folks. If you look in the canopy, they've gone through there and they have weathered the inside of the canopy. All this plastic detail is all weathered. Let me show you the inside of these air brakes real quick.
Brake.
See how good I am with my teeth? If you look on the inside of the fuselage air brake, you see the plastic structures inside there. That's all weathered too. So they have paid incredible attention to detail. The only drawbacks I had is that the stickers, this sticker here, this S for the Sky Blazer, was coming up. So I kind of glued it back down, put a piece of clear packing tape over it. But that is the only complaint I've got. The plane went together beautifully. The manual's spot on. The CG, the CG manual, the manual CG, I can't talk today, was spot on, and I'm very pleased. Folks, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, that F-86s.